Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna have some fighting words. In this video, I just want to make a quick little video and just kind of hash over Billy Joe Saunders and the loss to Canelo. Well, this is it. I get really frustrated when I see how quick boxing as a sport is to throw away its fighters. You know, and I'm just reading all these things and all these comments, and it's like, oh, Billy Joe should retire. Billy Joel is trash and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's amazing you get one loss and now you're trash. You know, like, in what world? You know, boxing is literally the only sport where we throw our fighters away. We throw our athletes away. And we treat them like washed up goods or something like that. The only sport, no other sport does this. You know, if Steph Curry's dribbling down the court, and you know, Lord forbid, he falls and he breaks his ankle or sprains his ankle or something like that, nobody is going to say, well, that's the end of him, you know, we'll just get another player. No, they're going to sit him on the bench, they're going to have somebody look over him, and they're going to decide what's going to happen the next few games. They may say, you know what, he might have to sit the rest of the season out. But in no way, shape, or form are they just going to throw him out with the trash. No sport does this. No sport does this, unless it's just an absolute freak injury. But boxing does it all the time. And it's literally his first loss. It's his first loss. Muhammad Ali lost. Sugar Ray Leonard lost. Great champions have lost. And yet, nobody ever threw them out. Nobody ever threw them out. Why is it he's getting thrown out? Like, he was not getting beat up. There's sometimes you see a fight and a guy's getting beat up and you're like, you know what? After a fight like that kind of takes a few years off of you. Maybe you should, you know, retire. If you look at Ali and Frazier, you know, Thriller Manila. Yeah, after that, they definitely should have retired. I mean, they were like literally killing each other. For our, you know, for the fans' entertainment, they were killing each other. But Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, they weren't doing that much damage to each other. Like, seriously, outside of that one particular shot right here from Canelo, that was it. Yes, he was winning the fight, but was he like brutalizing Billy Joe Saunders? No, he wasn't doing it. Was he assaulting him at that point? No, he wasn't doing that. An assault is Floyd Mayweather fighting Arturo Gatti. That was an assault. All right? That's what that was. That's an assault. Like, Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike took a lot of big blows, not to mention Lennox Lewis is the size of a house. But what we saw in that fight with Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, it wasn't like he lost round 1 through 6 or something like that. No, it was very competitive. Actually, he wasn't doing super great, Billy Joe, but he wasn't doing horrible either. A lot of guys by that time in the fight, like, you know, in those later rounds, Canelo would have already gotten the wheel to the car and would totally be driving at that point in the fight. And Billy Joe was still holding his own. And yet, after the fight, oh, you're a bum? What are you talking about? Canelo has a loss too. I just don't think it's fair. And just as a sportsman, but as a man who just loves boxing, this is the only sport that does that. The only sport. You look at MMA, guy can have like 3-4 losses. People are still going to show up in attendance for him. They're still going to cheer his name. They're still going to honor him and respect him after the fight. Going to cheer him on the way out of the venue. Not boxing. Nope, you should retire. Because in the round that you didn't get up from the stool, you got beat prior to that, in that prior round. That's not okay as a sport. I don't think it's okay, and I think we need to rally around our fighters. And in all fairness, let's just call a spade a spade. There's not a whole lot of great fighters. There's a lot of great fighters to give you good fights, but there's not a lot of great fighters that caliber of fighter. So let's cherish what we have, not only in a fighter, but also as, you know, in an individual, in a human being. because not many people are willing to take that walk. Not many people can take that walk. Not many people have the skill to take that walk, the heart to take that walk, the mental capacity to take that walk, to get in there and perform in front of thousands of people. So let's give him the respect that he deserves. And I am happy to say that he said that he'll be back. And that's the heart of a true champion. Yeah, he took a loss, but he's coming back. Like, at least in my era, the only champion that I know of that didn't take a loss is Floyd Mayweather. Everybody else took losses. Joe Calzaghe as well. But everybody else has taken losses. Roy Jones literally owned the 90s. He looked like freaking Superman. Like, he was faster than everybody else, seemed to be stronger than everybody else. He seemed to have like some telekinesis where he knew what you were going to do before you even did it. And he got put down a few times. And yet, nobody was ever like, well, maybe Roy, you should stay, you shouldn't come back. Now, once he hit like his 40s, then it was like, all right, Roy, enough is enough. But the point that I'm making is, after the first loss, nobody said you shouldn't come back. Nobody said that. Why is Billy Joel getting this treatment? Why is he getting this treatment? And I'll tell you why. Because he's fighting in the post-Mayweather era. Because Mayweather made it not cool to take a loss, which I'm not telling anybody to take a loss. And I don't want anybody to take a loss. I want everybody to fight for wins, W's all the time, especially in a pugilism sport. This is not a team sport. In a team sport, if I take a loss, I can say, hey, you weren't passing that ball tonight, or hey, you took a little too many shots tonight, or hey, you weren't throwing the ball that well tonight, offense or defense, whatever. But in this sport, that L does mean something, so I get it. We're in a post-Mayweather era, and now Mayweather put it in our heads that if you take a loss, you're trash. That's what he put in our heads. If you take a loss, you're just straight up trash. Throw the baby out with the bathwater, I guess, something like that. You're straight up trash. But if you look at history in this sport, Sugar Ray Robinson has 16 losses or something like that. And when you compare who's the best of the best, 9 times out of 10, he's either number 1 or number 2 on the list. I don't know. So I just think we need to take better care of our fighters. I think we need to show them a whole lot more respect. And congrats to Billy Joel for saying that he will be back. Congrats to him for, he's going to take his time. Obviously, he has to heal, obviously. But he's going to go back. He's going to look at the fight. He's going to work on some things because that's what a real champion is. That's what he's a fighter. That's what fighters are. Fighters don't quit. Fighters don't take a beating or a loss and then say, I'm never going to come back to fight again. That's the definition of a fighter. Somebody who will be back, who won't stay down, who won't stay seated, who won't stay quiet, who's always going to come back for more. So I'm happy to say that he's going to come back for more, and I wish that just as lovers and supporters of the sport, that we would rally around our fighters and not tear them down, especially after a loss. But you tell me what you think down below, and as always, please like and subscribe.